All right, what's up, Butte Ledges? We're going to talk about the SPX today. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and a few other things. All right, so first and foremost, pretty volatile day yesterday on the S&P 500 as at one point, we were down almost 2 standard deviations from where the market had expected price to go. The options market, that is, expected a $50 move out of the SPX this week because it was a shortened week. Not a lot of high risk news events happened last week, but why did we see such a massive move yesterday on Friday? I mean, at one point, this thing was down almost 1%, and then all of a sudden it moved, reversed, and that is a 100-point move on the ES futures. That is a huge move. When you're pricing in only a $50 move for the whole entire week, and then you get a 100-point move on Friday, that goes to show you that we do see a little bit of volatility in the marketplace. My thought process would be simple. Yesterday was the monthly close. I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard selling may go away. Yesterday was the monthly close, and we had a little bit of a down day. Anytime you get near or around the bottom edge of the expected move in a bull market, you typically want to be looking for longs in the way of selling puts or buying calls or just getting long the spot price of the futures contracts if you wish. But yeah, I mean, ended up moving long. Now, will we get bullish continuation going into next week? That's going to be difficult to say simply because we have a lot of news coming up next week. We got ISM manufacturing Monday, JOLTS Tuesday, ISM non-manufacturing and services PMI on Wednesday, jobless claims on Thursday, and then finally NFP on Friday. So what are we expecting the market to move? A whopping $61. All right, so if you watched last week's video, you know that we did in fact take the VIX trade. However, it was a hedge trade only. All right. What I mean by that is simple. I have a long position on the S&P 500. I was long the spot price, but that got stopped out. And as we traded down near the edge of the expected range, I sold some puts. So obviously at one point yesterday, I was down and I was down pretty significantly, but it all bounced back and it came back nicely. And now that position is up. Since I sold puts, basically, as long as it stays above yesterday's low, this trade will end up making money, even if it trades sideways. It doesn't necessarily have to go up, and that's what I love about selling options. You don't necessarily need a directional move. You just need price to stay away from whatever strike you sold. So yeah, as long as we're above 51.92, then those $5,000 puts that I sold will make money at expiration. However, if we do get a move back to the upside, if yesterday was, the low, if that was going to be the end, then, we would expect bullish continuation from here. Then we'll expect it to move higher going into the week. A lot of high risk news events coming up this week. So be very, very careful because we could see a lot of two-sided trade next week as well. On Thursday, I was watching oil at the open. I'm going to go ahead here and mark the opening price for you. I need that line to be white. So there is the opening price on oil for Thursday. I was looking for a short, put it in the Discord. We were looking for some action to happen based on the fact that we had oil news coming out. So on this big move here is essentially when I started to look for shorts. I was looking for a retest of the daily open, but you can see this is at 9 o'clock in the morning, this white candle here. That's at 9 a.m. in the morning. And at 10 a.m., we did get a move higher, but we did not come and test the open. So, and this is also when the news event came out. So we had a lot of volatility inside of that 1 hour candle. I'll go back over here and show it to you so you can see it. All right, right in here. This is when we had some volatility. I think maybe I was wrong. Maybe at 11 o'clock it came out, the news did. But anyways, this is about where I entered a short position. And all I did was I sold calls above. Here, I'll just pull this over so you can see, right? Because I don't hide it. This is the oil contract that I sold. And I sold for 89 cents. I sold the June 14th, which only has 13 days on it, the $80.50 strike. So as long as oil stays under $80.50 in the next few days or, the next 13 days, then that trade will also make money. It's already up at about, I'd say 25% into profit right now. So, I mean, as long as it continues to go lower, I will end up closing that position out. If it doesn't continue to go lower and it starts to move back to the upside, then I will potentially look to close that position simply because we are at support. And the last time we were down here, if I draw a horizontal line here, you can see at this price, I don't know what's so special about 76.82, but here was a test of it. We tested it there. We closed right on it there. We went under it, but then got this nice bullish rip, reversing from the 2023 yearly opening range. And that is the basis for me taking the trade, essentially, was I wanted to see if we were going to reverse back lower, because right now the dollar's struggling a little bit, and I think if the dollar goes lower, I think oil will go lower as well. That doesn't mean that they're correlated. It's just a theory of mine right now. But you can see that we traded down into this red zone, or this area here that is obvious support. So it is possible that we do get a bounce back up. So I will be watching oil very, very closely for the next couple of days. I would love to see it get a daily close down and then continue lower. Obviously, that is how I'm positioned, but it doesn't really matter. As far as the VIX trade, it was in the profit a little bit on Friday. At the start of the day, we had a nice push back up around 1485-ish. And at that time, the trade was up a little bit, but ultimately it sold off hard going into the last half of the day on Friday, putting that trade basically back down to flat. All right, back down to flat. It is a little bit red right now. Here are the three positions that I have open. It's a little bit red right now, but I never really take these numbers for granted, obviously, because the market's closed and this can change as soon as the market opens. But these are the three positions I'm in. So I'm long the S&P futures. I am long the VIX also, just in case we get a big spike to the upside. Remember, there is a potential profitability on this trade of up to $500. That's not bad with a $50 risk. All right, not bad at all. So I'm willing to lose that $50 as long as the S&P 500 continues to move higher. If the S&P 500 continues to move higher, I will close down this VIX trade, as in my opinion, there's no reason to leave on a hedge that's only got 16 days left on it. Because in my opinion, if the S&P 500 starts to go back to the upside and we get a good number for the non-farm payroll on Fridays, we could see the market go ahead and make fresh all-time highs. All right, so that's where we are. Currently, let's go look at Bitcoin. So we have a fresh monthly candle on Bitcoin. Let's go look at it. We have been consolidating on Bitcoin above the yearly opening range, the 2024 yearly opening range. You have consolidated for 3 solid months between the prices of 56,000 and 73,000. So it's a pretty big range here of consolidation. So we definitely want to see this thing start to move back to the upside pretty soon. However, it hasn't been looking very great for the last 2 weeks. We got this pullback here, which was a support zone that we were watching that I did mention. That was an area to look to get long. If you would have got long there, obviously this would have been a nice move right through here to take profits anywhere as it was moving higher. But if you are looking for more long-term holds, that price is still where I would be looking for potential entries, as long as you're not closing a daily candle under it. The price is $66,261. This is pretty much the line in the sand where I want to see it hold, and I want to see it finally get above the weekly resistance that we have right here from last week. And then ultimately we need to close a weekly candle above that high week close of 71,288. That is the highest weekly close that Bitcoin has in its entire history. And that is from this candle right here. And then you can see last week's resistance there. It's given it a bit of a fit for the last 3 or 4 days here. We had this move higher. We took out the high. This was a close under support. And it's this support over here that it closed under. So as we closed under this support, and then we made this trade up, took out the high, I was expecting this to act as support if it was going to be a bear trap. Was it? No. Because we closed under it. So, I mean, what's the chances that we're going to get a bear trap, then a bullish move, then another bear trap, and then a bullish move? Well, I mean, it can happen. Anything can happen. It's the markets. Simply put, as long as the markets, as far as risk markets, stay bullish moving into the next couple of weeks, then I would expect Bitcoin to continue to be bullish in the next couple of weeks. This is just a pullback. It's not a lot of bearish pressure, okay? Even though the bears have pretty much been in control since we had this big rally here on May the 20th. You know, the bears have pretty much been in control, but they have not been able to get any sizable bearish candles in there. So it does look okay. It is constructive. As long as it can hold this area in here, then we would look for it to end up rallying. And if you look at the weekly candle, it still looks okay, right? We break out, we rally, we tag this descending trend line as well as the high week close. And then that's where the bears showed up, pushes price all the way back down here. And then we open up with the current week that we are trading on. We push up right back almost up into that trend line, and then we reject again, and then we push lower. However, we did not take out last week's low. So what I'm assuming is maybe this will be a pullback candle. So maybe next week we get another rally candle and we can close above this close. So next week, what I want to see, it doesn't mean we will see it, but what I would love to see is Bitcoin close a weekly candle above 68,473.72 to give us that close up and around this area here. That would look good, and it would be constructive for the overall bullish formation that we are still currently in. If I go back over here to the daily time frame and pull up the moving averages, you can see that Bitcoin is still in a bullish structure as far as the moving averages are concerned. As far as the RSI is concerned, this all looks very, very good, very constructive. I do not want to see a big puke bearish candle. If that occurs, then obviously we'll probably have to change up our thesis a little bit. But you know, it is what it is, right? We trade these things day by day. WEEX is having a ribbon cutting ceremony where they are going to offer WXT. And you can see here, sign up to earn up to 500 WXT, transfer USDT, tether, at least 200 tether, and trading volume with at least 10,000 USDT, earn up to 1,000 WXT. And there will be airdrops and stuff as well. There will be a link in the description. You just click that link. Also, if you want to try WEEX, my link in the description will give you 20% off all trading fees. Remember, only put money on exchange that you are not afraid to lose. Just make sure it's an amount, percentage-wise, of your net worth that you do not care to lose, just in case anything happens, you know, anything bad happens. We never know, right? It's still a little bit risky out there. But you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.